Welcome back to Simulacra Studios Burn It Down, a Vampire 5th Edition campaign that no longer has a terrible audio issue on my end that I thought I had solved but didn't. Um, thank you very much for coming back. Thanks you for putting up with the technical issue. It should be all resolved now. If so, if you hear anything wrong, please put it in the chat or message us in some way, and we'll sort it out. Anyway, as I was saying, when last we left our Predators of the Night, they were doing some updates to their haven and their domain, and they had found a illicit wiretap that was beaming their conversations to a point unknown. They had disabled it so that it wasn't completely non-functional, but it wasn't sending anything that they were actually saying out into the world. It's sort of garbled digital nonsense. And that is where we left them. So we're going to actually pick up that same night, and we'll see how they deal with this situation and others to come. Welcome back, everyone.
Hey.
Okay, so yeah, you guys are still in your haven. You've resolved that issue to the degree. You have some technical information that you can use to try and trace this down. But I believe that you were talking about the that you were basically waiting for someone to react to that. Was that the general plan?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, we're laying our own counter trap.
Yeah. Well, nothing happens within about an hour. So if you guys have anything else you want to try and do or anything, like I said, things seem to be quiet for at least an hour.
Did we want to do like a stakeout? Like, did we discuss that a couple of weeks ago? Whether or not that was something our characters wanted to do? Did we want to 24? Well, not 24/7, but survey it as much as possible. Keep someone out here to watch it in the day if we need to, etc., etc.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I feel like because if they know we're vampires and they want to gain access to do illicit things in our home, they're probably going to want to do it during the day.
Yeah.
And so we do have all those handy new ghouls.
Yes, if necessary, we can have someone keep our stuff on lock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those ghouls, they've made fairly regular contact. They haven't made it back to the haven, but you're pretty certain that it's about Jonesin time, for at least those of them that have been actually receiving the blood. So you haven't, to my knowledge, set anything specific up for them yet.
Not in regards to a routine or anything. Yeah. They just show up whenever they're just we're ready to party.
You're not certain. I believe you, like I said, you have contact information them. If that's something that you want to ask specifics about, then that's something that you can do. But you've been sort of keeping it casual as you guys have had your own plans sort of up in the air.
Mm-hmm. Well, my vote is to have our ghouls watch it during the day, and Willow can have some of her people also watch it during the day as a part of their job.
That's easy enough to set up.
Yeah.
Now, I believe that only Madison and Cadence are actually staying in the Haven proper during the day. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because you have Willow has your newly established haven sort of on the edge of the domain, and Alex still has his condo in Buckhead. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, noted. All right, so yeah, you guys have, like I said, nothing obvious is happening with the link or the wiretap. So this seems to be a fairly quiet evening. I will note that you guys really haven't had that much of an opportunity to really sit down and start to strategize, sharing whatever information you might have and really start to form a plan. But now that you know that you're not being listened to, this seems like a good opportunity to do that if you're so inclined.
Okay.
I mean, that sounds good to me. We discussed a little bit about long-term strategy last time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, before the bug was found.
Yeah, I think actually we in the middle of talking about our strategy when the bug was found.
We were, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Right. So
maybe we
you
should change the strategy.
Probably, yeah.
So like I said, you guys know various things regarding rumors and whatnot that I've given you. If you guys want to keep those close to the chest, that's obviously your choice. But I gave them to you for a reason, so maybe.
I suppose if we're still in the building, Willow would like to bring up the question of Sister Mary. What was her name?
Sister
Lynn. Single survivor. Sister Lynn. She'd like to bring up. What are we? That's a good lead. Like, that's a really good lead. Trying to figure out what happened to her and the circumstances around that. She'd ask that.
I agree.
Yeah, I also agree.
Unfortunately, we don't really have a lot to go on. So,
could we drill the ghouls and the rest of the church group on anything they knew?
try to construct a profile.
Yeah.
We could. I very seriously doubt any of them know where she's gone. If they had, they wouldn't have been so desperate for us.
I agree.
Makes sense.
My gut tells me that we might be dealing with a traitor.
That's what I think as well.
Okay.
I think it's the only thing that makes sense.
Okay, so you guys gonna try and call one or more of the ghouls to come back to the place? Is that the plan?
I mean, we're gonna do it anyway if they're gonna stake out for us, so might as well kill two birds with one stone.
Let's get whatever other conversations out of the way and then have them come down.
Yeah.
Yep.
The ghouls in particular, those are the ones I feel, because if they are special enough to have earned a title, they may not know a lot, but they know probably more than the rest here, communion or whatever that we're here for, whatever they called it.
Mm-hmm.
So, priorities then would be figuring out what happened to Sister Lynn.
Yeah.
Establishing our foothold in the immediate area. Mm-hmm. And I would like to recommend a third.
Mm-hmm.
I have reason to believe that the Baron of this Free State may be coercing leaders of individual coteries into obedience through nefarious means.
I definitely think they are onto something there.
I am not certain what means those may be, whether they're the powers of the blood, or blood bonds, or blackmail. It almost certainly has something to do with this Four Horsemen exceptionalism. But I personally believe that it would behoove us to position ourselves in a manner that makes us not vulnerable to that practice.
You've got any specific ideas?
Well, you're the native here, so I was hoping maybe you could elucidate a little bit about why you so readily agree with me, for example, or anything about these Four Horsemen, etc.
Well, if I'm if I'm completely honest with you, the primary reason that I agree with you so readily is that I despise the Baron and think that he is a twat.
Oh, well.
Well, why don't you tell us how you really feel?
Yeah. All assholes are war criminals, so it makes sense.
In the case of Mr. Tren, I haven't seen anything that leads to very specific evidence of that sort of brigandry, but it wouldn't surprise me to find out that this bug that we found is his way of learning all of our little secrets so that he can use those against us and do the same thing to us.
That's my concern.
And Scott, did you sent me something about the Four Horsemen, right?
I may have. I believe I sent you some information in your private chat.
Yeah, I'm looking there now.
I'm not going to look that up because that'll screw up the Discord for me.
No, but I got it. Yeah, I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, you guys did ask around about the Four Horsemen a little bit when you were at Dead Channel. You got basically a file with their photographs and basically descriptions of them. But other than the Baron's insistence that they do good work for the domain, you're not entirely certain, unless I've given you something specific regarding them.
Good work. So,
And
I would say that
Willow's like on her phone or her phone texting.
Cool.
any
Are
other
you?
thoughts?
Oh, so why is it again that you're so suspicious of the Baron?
So, I keep a pulse on the, shall we say, general health of discourse in various free states throughout the country. It's a hobby, you could say.
Okay.
Apparently, it is an uncommon thing for the leaders of coteries here in Atlanta to disagree with the Baron with any frequency, which all of you being anarchs know that's really fucking strange.
Yeah, just
There's one thing we love to do, it's bitch at each other about meaningless.
Most definitely, but if he's charismatic enough, you tend not want to argue with them.
I
He's not.
suppose.
No, he didn't. I mean, he seemed rough to talk.
Well,
to,
there's also the fact that the whole way that Tren took power, the sort of momentary tyranny that he's put into place with a promise that come 2020 we'll restore the government as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing stinks to me of despotism. It always has. And the fact that I, as a young anarch, feel that way, I just don't believe that the older anarchs of the city are being quiet about that of their own accord. Something is going on. Perhaps he's just able to pay them off well, but I suspect something more sinister because I don't like it.
Oh.
So the question I have is, do we have any idea of anyone else specific in the city that he might be manipulating that we could try to talk to or look into? Because it's one thing to say, oh, he might be manipulating folks, and it's entirely another to, actually have a way to look into that.
So, along those lines, I had thought to propose that we make some diplomatic outreaches to other known coteries in the city.
Mm-hmm.
We already made ourselves known at Dead Channel, but establishing some sort of formal rapport with the leaders of these other coteries, even if the Baron is actually a complete asshole but otherwise a completely nice guy, it only behooves us to make friends. So we're doing something that is beneficial anyway, but that has the secondary effect, potentially inuring us against what nefarious activity may be present in the domain if we were to make those sorts of contacts. I didn't want to do so unilaterally, as I'm not interested in doing things that we don't all want to do.
Fair enough.
So, Alex, the coterie that you are most familiar with is the one that makes its domain in Buckhead proper. Specifically centered around the area of the Buckhead Theater, where there's just almost a dozen clubs. And they are almost all of them can be described as like scene queen style club proteges, the type of people who, just get into the VIP section because they look right. And they have their fingers in that scene and in the nightlife of that area pretty extensively. One of them is, in fact, the owner of the local asylum, which is in that area. who you believe is
Awesome.
sort of the leader, and they are you believe that they are a Toreador. Although clan doesn't really get mentioned a lot in Atlanta, it's seen as kind of a gauche topic to get your get to that get that information, or ask for that information or have it confirmed, just because we're all anarchs here.
Right.
But it's you can kind of tell sometimes. But yeah, she goes by the name of Vicky, and you are on at least cordial relations with her and her game, just because you have your haven in that part of the city, and you run in similar circles.
Okay. So I know the owner of the local asylum. She's got a gang of her own. She's relatively influential in the area. I could reach out to her and see if she knows anything.
Sounds like a great first potential business partner. Does Buckhead share any borders with our little pseudo territory here, or is it too far away?
No, it's much farther to the north. It's kind of on the edge, northern edge. Buckhead proper is actually fairly big, but the area of the Buckhead Theater, which is sort of their core domain, is sort of north. It's very much north, so it's not connected at all.
It'll give us a foothold in a different part of the city, in case things go sour down here. I think we should also consider making nice with our neighbors.
Do you guys know anything about that? Or
well, I know that we are right up against the edge of Camarilla territory.
And Sabat.
And also the...
Well,
I have a very strong feeling that the Sabat are not going to make nice with me.
Yeah.
with any of us, really.
Think they can go fuck themselves personally.
So if we share a border with the a Camarilla domain, do you know who's the owner of that?
I don't know who the current prince of Atlanta is.
There may even be more than one. I don't really know.
Who knows?
Can I do any sort of politics or anything to see if I...
Yeah, you can. Actually, I will tell you that information is in the timeline that I gave you all. But if you want to get some more details, then an intelligence politics roll will certainly.
I'm super going to do an intelligence politics roll as well. We should have rolled for hunger at the beginning of the game. Right?
It's still the same night.
It's the same night.
Yeah. So you're at the same hunger and willpower ratings that you were.
Single success.
Okay.
I have 3 successes.
Okay.
Oh wow, the Prince of Atlanta is the child of Jan Peterzoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adelia Peterzoon is the current Prince of Atlanta, or at least the sections of Atlanta that the Camarilla holds domain in, which is sort of this nice central corridor of the city. Basically, the nicest parts of the city. And she has been in that position since the city was half retaken from the Sabat in the early aughts. She basically rules the city, her section of the city, and as well as extends her influence out into the greater city with fairly efficient and powerful means. As far as local domain, you've heard, Madison, that just to the right, to the west of you, is sort of the Oakland territory, or the Sweet Arbin territory, which is sort of nominally, it's kind of it's not given specific territory to any one particular
Did
gang.
I lose you guys?
No, we still got
Okay.
you.
Sorry, it just goofed up for a second.
That's fair.
I'm muted because I was coughing.
There we go. It's not any one particular gang coterie's territory, but it has been known to be regularly patrolled by the sheriff and his deputies, and sort of more of a security concern rather than any particular hunting ground or anything like that.
Okay, so it's not formally Camarilla territory, but it's kind of like a Camarilla protectorate.
Basically, yeah. I mean, they don't want you there.
Okay.
And you know that it is definitely a protectorate.
Well, I don't care what they want, but
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I believe sort of the next near and then there's also Inman Park, which is a larger domain to your east, which has a few sort of a loose alliance of Ventrue. Look after that. They're almost not a coterie, more like a better business bureau of coterie. And then there's Little 5 Points, which is overseen by a coterie of Toreador and Malkavian Camarilla members, which, if you know anything about that area of the city, I think makes total sense.
yeah, completely on brand.
So yeah, that's your general out. You are basically kind of you're kind of surrounded by Cam. Cam on one side, Zabot on the other. But that's the general layout of what you guys are dealing with.
And what's the formal relationship between this Anarch domain and the Camarilla domain?
Like a truce, isn't it?
Yeah, the formal relationship is essentially a truce. It is, that we collaborate together on the Masquerade and to keep the Sabbat in check. But there should be very limited interactions and no collusion between the two, because they do generally respect the state of hostilities that exists between the Camarilla and the Anarch movement sort of globally, but it's sort of an uneasy marriage of necessity.
Makes perfect sense to me.
All right, James.
That's all. That's all my questions.
Yeah, James has some stuff to deal with, so he'll be off the stream for a little bit. Yeah, so that's your general setup. What do you guys want to do about that?
Right now, I'm going to be following the Sister Lynn lead.
Okay.
All other things in regards to consolidating power in the city, in regards to surveillance, that's stuff that'll take time. But Sister Lynn, I'm sure if we ask enough, we'll get nuggets of truth.
Okay, so are you calling one or more of those ghouls to show up? Okay. Yeah. All right. You get in touch with them, and they sort of eagerly respond that 2 of them will be coming to the old hall very shortly.
Okay. I say, all right. Well, 2 of them en route, and so I guess we'll just try to figure out whose sister. Yes.
That's
as best as we can. People who knew.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I need to look something up real quick. I have some questions for some of you.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure that is fun stuff.
Indeed.
Fun, happy times.
Mm-hmm.
Good news.
That's not ominous at all.
Nope.
So, what I'd like to know, while we're waiting for some ghouls to show up and hopefully James to resolve his issue, is I'd like to know, Willow, about Vincent Coppola.
You'd like to know about what he's up to these days?
Yeah, well, what? Who is he? What is his relationship to you, and why does he mean what he means to you?
He is an old flame and really an old boss. Anything. I worked with him in life, and we had a good thing going until we didn't.
Okay. Is he still he still an active part of your life in any way?
I stalk him.
Okay.
Like, using the internet.
Using the internet, you stalk him.
I feel like I have to.
Okay.
I feel like getting the opportunity to get physically close to him. It'd be too tempting to
Okay.
be around him and not want to be like, hey, I'm real sorry about, whatever.
Okay.
And so
So
she stalks him on the
interesting.
internet.
So, and of course, because I'm not going to let you have someone who's not directly in the line of dangers, he is local to Atlanta. Did
Yeah.
you arrange that? Was that a happy circumstance? How did he come from California to Atlanta, Georgia?
Well, he probably came on business. And,
Okay.
there's opportunities here. And sometimes those two things just coincide.
Interesting. So,
Luckily.
luckily, those two things coincided. Gotcha. All right. I just wanted
Luckily, I
to.
wasn't going to turn down an opportunity to help the cause.
I see. Excellent. Well, that's good to know. Um, so while we're on the same vein and while we're waiting for these schools to show up, Alex, I would like to know a little bit about Tasmina Touche, if that's
Okay.
how I'm pronouncing it
So,
right.
yep. Tasmina Touche is a friend that Alex met through the burlesque scene. So when he was coming up in his career, he DJ'd an awful lot of really dingy rundown shows. He did a lot of DJing at the Jungle before it shut down, and Heather was one of the burlesque drag queens that worked. Um, she and Alex she was English, and she and Alex hit it off really well and became very good friends. She actually was part of the reason that he was able to sort of spread his music into different venues, because in her day job, as her as her daily persona, she was a pretty powerful media executive. This was just a thing that she did as a sort of alternate identity for herself, and sort of a sad story, but she ended up kind of losing access to that part of her life because she was assaulted by somebody who was a known entity, a missing stare in the community. And when she came out about it, nobody believed her, and they called her they called her a drama queen and a liar and all of this. And basically, eventually, she got fed up with it and just cut that part of her life off completely. So she doesn't use that name anymore, and she really doesn't express feminine at all anymore. But Alex still sees her as Tasmina and still approaches her that way, and that's why they have maintained such a strong friendship, because he's basically the only person who still treats her the way that in her heart she really wants to be treated.
Okay, and so she is still in your life then.
She is still in his life, yeah.
Okay, good to know. Similarly, Madison, I want to know about Willie.
What? Am I still muted? Okay, cool.
No, you're good.
So Willie is a disabled veteran, Vietnam War, and he was a regular fixture on the streets near where Madison did some of his work slightly before his embrace, and continued working in social justice spheres after his embrace as well. And Madison is kind of like a distant, unknown benefactor for this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they've never met, but basically he just caught Madison's eye because he was very dignified in the face of the sort of casual abuse that people were offering him, despite him being a veteran but also being homeless. Madison just noticed the scene play out where people were being abusive and terrible to him, and he just kind of let it roll through him, and the guy just kind of stuck in his head, and so he started arranging for food and care packages, and eventually just cash money to be given to this guy under an anonymous relationship, and just kind of keeps tabs on the guy and basically he just kind of represents Madison reminds himself of what is going on at the lowest rungs and the injustice that exists there that he no longer sees because he doesn't walk around during the day, by keeping tabs on this guy and kind of caring for this guy.
Good, I see. And so you're not he's not an active part of your life. He doesn't know you.
Nope.
Okay. And once again, how did he come to be in Atlanta?
I'm willing to say that I arranged for that, or that it was a coincidental thing, by whatever is the plot convenient for you.
Okay. Noted. All right. Yeah. I'll
fuck
basically.
Me up, fam. Just said fuck me up, fam.
Exactly.
Whatever.
I'll say it's probably most likely that you arranged for an opportunity for him, and that he basically took it. So you're not exactly certain where he is right now, just because, travel and transit, but you're pretty certain that he's at least on his way to Atlanta. And to round out the quartet, we talked about Reagan last time, Cadence, but I'd like to know a little bit more about Benji.
Benji is Cadence's younger brother. They were separated in the foster system. I think Cadence was like 7 and he was 2. And once she had been embraced, which is basically right after she got out of juvie, the first thing she did when she was able was find him and find out what happened to him. And he was her baby brother, and she always really missed him and regretted not being able to protect him. So now she's going to protect him forever. And so he is her ghoul. He helped run her check cashing ring, and basically provides any of the daytime necessities that she needs.
Gotcha. Okay, so he's family, and he very much is a part of your life.
Yes.
And so I want to know a little bit more about the ghouling, because that does imply a blood bond. How does Cadence handle that?
She obviously it's not a distant relationship, but she just try to keep it kind of like as distant as she can. So like they don't see each other every day, but she makes sure that she drops off a thermos of her vitae if she can't catch him at home, just to make sure that he gets what he needs.
Okay, so you keep it as casual as you can, knowing that the power of your blood basically causes him to consider you the most important being in the world.
Yes. Yes.
Got it. Okay, so now that we know a little bit more about the vulnerable spots, we'll come back and say that after you guys have done some contacting, some sort of logistical work, 2 figures sort of knock on the door of your renovated haven. And these are 2 figures that you recognize. It's a young African-American gentleman and a young Caucasian woman.
Did we ever get these guys' names?
Okay. I feel like we should have their names.
Yeah, you should definitely have their names, and I should totally think of them. Yeah. The man is named Andrew. And the woman is named Anna.
Okay.
Yep. So they basically come in. They haven't been here since that night, but they you can tell that they're sort of giving the side eye to the place, but not really. They're obviously having a lot of thoughts that they're not voicing.
Probably some insanely negative thoughts.
Yeah, probably, but they know their place, at least to some degree. But anyway, they come in and said they go to you, Willow, and say, "Ma'am, this is Andrew talking. Ma'am, you wanted to talk to us?"
Yeah, I wanted to have a powwow or something. Let's sit down because I have a lot of questions.
All right, so you got tables and areas for sitting down, so they come down to a table, and you guys sort of all sit around the table, and you're having a nice little chat with these slaves of your blood.
I mean, yeah.
Hey.
No.
They're not slaves. Not yet.
Noted.
They
But
need
anyway,
a few more drinks for that.
just a couple. So yeah, they say, what can we help you with?
So I want to know all about everything that happened before we showed up. Like everything. How you met everybody, how you learned to love everybody, what everybody was like. I want to know everything that happens. Not like too graphically, but like graphically.
Oh, okay. Well, most of us were not living our best lives in Atlanta here. Many of us were involved with crime or drugs, um, addictions of one type or another, and the brothers and sisters, when they set up their revival hall, they they looked for people in need of help,
Mm-hmm.
and we were the ones that were drawn to them, and they were drawn to us because obviously they had their message that they needed to spread into the world and help those that needed their kind of help, that needed a family and a connection to something spiritual and real rather than the cheap thrills of the nightlife, or the drugs, or the all the
Yeah.
stuff that we've tried to leave behind. I mean, and for a few months, we the true believers, we came to be a family under their guidance,
Mm-hmm.
and it was great. It was the best experiences of our lives, and we're very sad we can't seem to find any of them anymore. We're
We
not.
want to find them too.
That would be very good. Um,
And so I need your help. We don't know a lot about them.
Absolutely.
Do you have pictures? Anything?
It was not proper to take pictures of the brothers and sisters. They needed their privacy. They were told that there were many who would try and suppress their message. That there were forces, there were great evils in the world, and that they needed to stay out of the limelight and out of that kind of attention.
Oh, of course. That makes perfect. Did you interact with them at any point outside of this building? In other parts of town, maybe?
From time to time, we went on outreach missions during the night. One or two of them would leave with us to
Mm-hmm.
find other souls in need of help.
Hmm. But you never. There weren't other places that they haunted, so to speak.
Well, I wouldn't say they haunted any places.
Oh, in the.
I mean, we would go to there are a few shelters nearby that we would go to volunteer at and look for people to help.
Mm-hmm.
There were some of
This is
the
where they were.
we would sometimes go to the Krog Street Tunnel during the night markets to try and find special people. They tend to congregate there.
What do you mean by special people?
Sister Lynn had an eye for people who shone brightly,
I see.
who would bring more light into the world if they were given the proper guidance.
How fortuitous.
Yes, I mean these people. We found a handful of them, and after some training, they were sent out into the world to spread the mission in other cities.
I see.
Oh,
Do you have any contact with them still?
yeah.
No, the brothers and sisters were the ones that kept in contact with them.
I see.
Do you know what other cities they were sent to?
No, we don't. That was that was not ours to know.
Willow is thinking about this place has an office, correct?
Yeah, there's an office attached to this place.
Have we scoured through that office?
Yeah,
Or-
you've gone through it. There's not a lot. There's some sort of fairly mundane, like tax information and the lease to the place and that sort of thing. But you don't like find anything that has anything incriminating or anything that would lead to any sort of supernatural information.
Yeah, when I pull out all the stuff, I just want to cross check with them, like the name on this lease. Is this one of you trying to find a maybe mortal name with any of this?
He says, yeah, he looks at some of the names and says, yeah, these are some of the congregants that they set up the revival hall with. I can get you in touch with them. They were here a couple nights ago when we came.
Yeah. I imagine.
Question. So I know like it was like a church congregation or something. Did you guys like do like any sort of fundraising, or how did you have like a bank account somewhere?
Those of us with means would contribute, but we believe that Brother Isaiah was of means. He seemed to be always able to provide when a financial need was what came about.
Okay.
Yeah. Willow is just like a little bit frustrated. Man, well, I suppose I'm going to be keeping it. Do the rest of you have anything you want to ask these guys? I'm not gathering anything useful here.
Yeah, I actually had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
In times that you needed to get in contact with the brothers and sisters of the congregation, did you have any means of doing so other than visiting this location?
They mostly were here, and we could mostly contact them here. Sister Lynn, we could call Sister Lynn, but she hasn't been picking up.
Would you be willing to let me know the number that you were trying to reach her at? We are concerned as well about the well-being of the former organizers of this congregation.
You sort of immediately can tell that is that you're gonna meet some resistance on that. If you'd like to give me a charisma persuasion roll,
sure,
with your hunger dice included, that will see how that goes.
So I have a persuasion specialty in victims. Are these people victims of me?
Of you, I would say no.
Okay.
Not yet.
I mean, they're cool.
In victims. It's a great specialty.
Yeah, it is.
They keep this up, they're gonna be.
Yeah, I would say that you've used them. I wouldn't say you've victimized them yet.
I have one success.
Okay. I say, we are very worried about her, and we've reached the end of our capacity to find her. So Anna pulls out a business card that has a phone number on it, and so says she would occasionally pick up, but we haven't heard from her in a long time.
This will be very useful in our search, and I give you my word that we will do everything in our power get in contact with her and try to make sure that she's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. We would like to know that she's well. We'd like to know that all of them are well. Do you know anything about what's happened to them?
We're investigating. And we're here to help. And we will help you. To the
Thank
best
you.
of our ability.
Thank you.
I'll be honest with you. Originally, I was here for, business. Business. Buy, sell, flip, run, whatever. But finding out that people like these who had such a good impact on this community just disappeared like this, that doesn't sit right with me. And I'm willing to do what I can.
Thank you. That's good to know. Do you need anything else from us?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll we have we've been trying to do the work on our own. Um, it's very hard to do so without their guidance, but um, I don't know. They kind of actually look over to Alex, since he was sort of the one that sort of took the more ecclesiastical role. So do you, sir, do you have anything, any insights, any wisdom that we might be able to use to help the good work?
If I remember correctly, Alex used a fake accent with them, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay. Alex will kind of go over, and he's wearing his big aviator sunglasses, his hood pulled up, and his sleeves all the way down. He puts his hand on the shoulder of the guy. He says, "Sometimes, brother, when we think that we are lost, that is when we are in the process of becoming found. Give it time, and I promise you that if Sister Lynn is to be found, she's going to find herself."
Preach.
Yeah,
That's
they like clasp their hands in prayer and thank you. That's so encouraging. I think that'll help us quite a bit. I think that she will be found, and yes, thank you.
You guys have a good night. Stay
Okay.
safe.
I want somebody to give me a wits insight roll.
I'll do that.
Just one person?
Anyone who would like to can.
I mean, Cadence isn't doing much else right now.
Put your hunger dice in there as well.
Oh,
Yep.
well, that changes things. Okay.
That's
Is there any
2.
time you don't put your hunger dice
No,
in?
you always do. I just like reminding
Always.
you because it's a weird new
Okay,
mechanic.
sweet.
Oh dang.
Okay. How
Shit.
how much did you get there, Madison? Cadence?
2.
Okay. All right. So those of you who
Two
got 2, did you get 2 as well, Willow?
Mhm.
2. Okay, yeah.
Two successes.
You sense that they seem very composed. They seem like they've got a lot of they're handling the issue very well. Alex, you have the particular insight of, you know how long it's been since these people have had blood, and you've seen what someone strung out on a blood addiction looks like.
Oh, boy.
They don't have any shakes. They don't have any signs.
Aha! Okay.
So they're sort of packing themselves up. They've standed up from the table and are sort of getting themselves ready to go.
Well,
I'm
y'all
not going to say anything yet.
Oh. Well,
Okay.
you two keep yourself safe.
Thank you. We will do what we can.
Be in touch.
Thank you. Yes. We'll if we find anything out, we'll let you know. And they head out.
As
Okay,
soon as they close the door, I'm just like, that was very encouraging, Alex. I really felt that you were almost earnest.
Well, we all have our skills. Did anyone else notice? How long has it been since they've fed?
Wasn't it last week that we had our orgy?
Did anybody else notice that they didn't seem particularly needy?
Now that you
Now
mention
they
it.
mention it, Jinx.
What?
Nothing.
Jinxes are illegal.
It's a game. Do you know what fun is?
No, I don't. It's a Ventrue thing. You wouldn't understand.
Clearly. But yeah,
They're getting blood from somewhere.
Yeah.
want me to tail him? I'll tail him.
Might not be the worst idea.
Because, like, all
Good
this
idea.
stuff you're talking about with the, getting in good with the coteries and doing the politics stuff, that ain't my bag. But, this I can do.
Yeah.
That sounds like your sort of thing, yeah.
Then we'll put it in your hands.
Sounds like fun.
So
I'm going to start seeing if I can pull info on this address, number, name, whatever.
Okay. That will be getting used to the skills.
Go ahead and let McKenna do her part of
Okay,
it
sure.
first,
Yeah,
'cause I
so
talked about it already.
that's fair. All right, so McKenna,
Yes.
I was going to ask McKenna, do you want me to trail behind you at a very far distance with a getaway van or a getaway car?
That's actually not a bad idea.
Because Willow, the moment you were like, hey, I want to stop. Yes? Hey, that sounds great. I'm super interested.
Okay.
Alright, yes.
I
I'll
can tell you in my car.
Okay. Did they come in a car or did they walk? Do we hear the sound of a car starting as they leave?
You do not hear this. Well, you hear the sound of cars passing by the
Right.
area. You do not hear a specific car starting up.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to assume that they walked, because if they drove here, then Cadence would need the car. But if they didn't, that's fine. So she's going to say, yeah. And if I need to make a quick exit, I'll give you a ring.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be close.
Okay.
Okay.
So you head out and start tracking them down.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see. That will be Cadence. I will say that is going to be right now that's going to be a wit streetwise roll.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, what do we got here? That's gonna be 3.
3 successes. Okay. So after a little bit, I mean, you kind of do a quick up and down the street a little bit, just sort of checking corners and whatnot, and you see them a couple of blocks away, standing at a bus stop.
Okay. All right. So, she's not going to get on the bus because obviously they know what she looks like, and she doesn't want them to know they're being followed. So, she's going to send a quick text to Willow saying we're following the bus.
Okay.
Oh, public transport. Okay.
Okay. So do you come up and like pick Cadence up in your car? Is that how this works?
If she asks me to, that is 100% what I will do.
Yeah, no, this is her job. She's going to stick to her job. She just needs help with her job.
All right, noted.
Like, hey, do you want to take off your Dropkick Murphy hat? Do you want to wear something so you look a little less like you? I don't know what to do. Do you want a FedEx hat? Like,
I'll lose the hat. And she takes off the hat, and her hair looks even worse without.
Oh, no, I have like pizza delivery. I have one of those fake little Pizza Hut things you put on the top.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while you guys are talking, you see the MARTA bus pull up, and the two of them get on the bus.
Let's follow this bus as far as it'll go.
Okay. So what I'm gonna need from you is we're gonna call this a composure drive check to drive
Oh,
casual.
fun. Act casual, guys.
Quick, drive casual.
Make sure I have my hunger dice. Let's see how well I do this. That getaway driver. See how good I can. Oh shoot. Okay. 2 successes.
2
I'm on a
successes.
roll.
Okay.
I feel something bad is gonna happen soon.
Oh, more than likely.
Yeah, that's a foregone conclusion.
All right. So yeah, you begin to trail the bus. You sort of keep, probably about a block of distance between you and it, pretty easily. Eventually, it pulls into the bus. Crosses over into downtown, which is Camarilla territory.
I'll just be in and out, right? Wait, do they also have a magical map that lets them know when people are in their territory?
Not that you're aware of. The only one that you're aware of is the map that is along the I-20 barrier. You're not certain if they have anything like that for their own territory. But yeah, the bus.
Oh, sorry. Didn't
But
mean to
that is where the bus is heading. It is currently sitting at a red light, with you like one block of traffic behind. But like you pull up a quick thing, and like you can tell that bus is going to 5 Point Station, which is sort of the main hub of the transit system, which is firmly in Camarilla territory.
When we sort of realize that, she says, well, we'll just be like in and out. Yeah.
Dude, it's only, wrong if you get caught. So we don't get caught, we're fine. And if we do get caught, we just say, hey, there was some rogue ghouls that was going to make trouble in your territory, and then suddenly, we're not there because we're trying to make trouble, we're trying to stop trouble.
Yeah, that seems like something I'd ask somebody else to tell them on our behalf. Yeah.
Well, that's you then. You do that thing.
That's how.
Okay, so the light turns green and the bus is going.
Go, go, go!
Okay, so it heads, and the bus heads into 5 Point Station, which, for those of you who have never seen it, 5 Point Station it's kind of a building on the ground, but there are many layers to it down below the city. So it pulls into the bus terminal, which is not accessible by normal cars. You're going to have to find... You are currently in a car, and they are getting off and going into this large, somewhat labyrinthine station. How are you guys approaching that?
Is there a car park nearby?
Yeah, there's street parking, and there is there's like 2-hour parking nearby on the street, and there is a MARTA car park.
All right, you let me out here and go find a place to stash the car, and then I'll go inside and try to catch him as they bus.
Oh, I'll be able to recognize you, no problem. Let me go park.
Okay,
Inner
all
city
right.
parking, the worst adventure.
Oh man, the true
In Atlanta.
Yeah, the true cosmic core is the Atlanta parking. But
I'm
yeah,
just gonna
you let
have a
her off.
frenzy in a parking.
Exactly. All right, so I am going to need from you, Cadence, a wits survival roll now.
Okay.
Because you don't exactly have eyes on them. You know they went into the facility. You know where they came from. But you don't have eyes on them currently.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh dear, it's off the table.
Uh-oh.
Whatever, I'll just throw another one. Oh shit, damn, that's 4.
4 successes. Okay,
Four successes. No relevant hunger dice.
Excellent.
I'm waiting for those to come up.
No, I'm dreading it, and I know it's gonna happen at a critical moment.
Okay, so you get eyes on them. You basically see them sort of across a bridgeway as they are getting onto an escalator heading down to the trains.
Okay.
Now I need you to make a dex stealth roll for me.
Dex stealth. Okay, and she's going to actually take the scarf that she usually wears,
Mhm.
and she's gonna like put that over her head as if she's like wearing it, because it's that time of year where it's a little chilly, so and makes her look a little less obviously her.
Okay.
Dex stealth. That's another 4.
Good times.
I know. I'm really nervous now.
Okay. Yeah, and you are able to sort of tail them without them noticing.
Proud of you.
So yeah, so you are there. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, you don't have that. Make another roll now. Yeah, so you follow them down, and they are going on a westbound train.
Okay.
That looks like they're waiting for it.
Okay. She's going to send actually a group text saying what platform they're at, the direction that the train is going. Should I get on or should I hold off for now?
And you know what?
Because that seems to be like pushing her luck a little bit to get on a train by herself somewhere else.
And even though I know what signal is life in 5 Point Station, I'm gonna say that goes through.
Thank you.
So yeah, Willow, you've managed to park the car, and we're gonna go back to Alex and Madison real quick.
Oh yeah, I finally find a parking spot after just honking my horn because people just pull out in front of me. I'm like, "Fuck you!" I'm sorry. Can I cuss on this?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a World of Darkness game.
You can cuss all the fuck you want.
I don't know.
No, it's fine.
I'm just like, "Fuck you," and then
I literally cannot comprehend the idea of playing Vampire the Masquerade PG-13.
Yeah, it's not possible. But anyway, so Alex and Madison. So the girls leave.
I'm just gonna bop down and grab that dice that dropped.
So Alex and Madison, the girls leave, and sort of leaving you to your own devices.
All right, time to crack a beer.
Yeah. Well, you could just hold it and think about beer.
Hey man, I have Humanity 8. If it was wine, I can drink it. You can drink wine, you just have to throw it up again.
That's true.
Why specifically wine?
You asked the fucking people who wrote the book.
I think because of the line, "We never drink wine."
Fine. Yes.
Alex is mixing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pounding the virtual pavement with this magical little card that is chock full of potentially useful details.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna want you, Madison, to roll me intelligence and technology.
Yeet. All right, that is 3 successes.
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, you're able to get basically a registry of numbers, that it's not like you don't find the Holy Grail here, but you basically can tell that this particular number is one that is assigned to a company that does burner phones. What would basically use as burner phones.
Metro PCS.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a Metro PCS number, for lack of a better, so you find that out about it.
As expected.
I mean, yeah, you're able to sort of like do a spoof text, so it doesn't come from any number that you know, and it doesn't give any sort of like bounce back information, so
the number's still in service.
The number is still in service, and yeah, that's. Do you have any specific questions that you're trying to answer with that?
So what name and because the card is a business card. So
Yeah.
what information is on the business card?
Oh no, okay. It was a card. It was a card to like a Ford dealer, but it had the number
okay.
written on the back.
Okay, I see. So it's just the okay. That's my bad.
Yeah, I thought it was like a business card.
No.
Card.
Sorry, that
instead
I
of,
didn't
like-
I didn't describe it well enough.
Oh no, it's fine.
But yeah, but any other specific information that you're trying to get out of it?
I mean, I'll probably try to see if any mistakes that someone who is being careful but doesn't fully understand technology might have happened, like maybe accidentally signing into Google with this phone number, because you can sign into services with a phone number instead of an email address. Since, fun fact, viewers out there, SMS messages are basically just emails, and they're super insecure, just like email. So be really worried for the rest of your life about every text you send.
Great,
don't put-
that's exactly what I needed to hear after the text I sent today.
No
Don't
problem.
put your social security number in it. You should.
Yeah, it's fine.
Noted.
It's unencrypted, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So you find yeah, you are able to. You basically enter that phone number into like you try to do some like a Google recovery stuff with it, and eventually trying to think of what would be plausible for that.
Not super hard to guess recovery questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is the Lord among lords? Jesus.
Yeah, you basically you get you try that for a little bit. You try and like find some recovery answers, and after like the third or fifth time, you get a you basically get a rejection notice of the user of this phone has blocked this particular service from
That's
that phone.
very good information. Very good.
So Alex, while you're mixing, I would like for you to give me a wits performance roll.
Oh, that's a good roll for me. One moment. Hunger dice?
Yes, please.
Okay, bless America. Why do I ask questions I really don't want the answer to?
That's a good one, yeah.
And what do specializations do?
I believe they add an extra die.
Okay. Is this a specialization since I'm DJing?
No. I mean, you're doing it for an audience of one, so I don't think that really counts as
Okay.
performances for that specific one.
1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
Okay, and nothing special on the hunger die there. Hunger
They
dice.
only count if they're both ones or both zeros, right?
Yeah, no, they count. The ones count if you fail the roll.
Okay.
And the zeros count if you get two zeros or 2 10s in a roll, and one of them is a hunger die, or multiple of them are hunger die, then that's a messy critical.
Okay, no, none of that.
None of that. Okay, cool. So you're sort of sorry, I'm just checking. Yeah, it's one extra die. I was curious. So you're spinning the beat. You're spinning the beat. And you've got your you start to hear something in the noise. So you sort of put your headphones on to try and isolate the noise. And you sort of hear this hissing vocal underneath that you haven't mixed in, and it's sort of semi-melodically whispering, "Come home, come home, come home."
Oh no. Okay. I'm going to clip out a piece of that, and I'm gonna motion over to Madison.
Okay. Yeah, Alex motions over to you.
Huh?
Hey, I just want to. Can you hear this?
He puts the headphones on. You hear nothing. Yeah, you just hear sort of a backbeat.
Yeah, it sounds good, man.
So no subliminal messaging or anything like that.
Well, if there's subliminal messaging, I wouldn't be aware of it.
Well, so it's about to be a moment.
It's at that
Is there
point that you guys
liminal
get.
messaging?
It's at that point that you guys get the group text from Cadence.
What does it say again?
Yeah, Cadence.
It says, at the transit station, they're on a platform waiting to head west. Follow, yes, no.
I think that you should come home.
Yeah. Too risky. That's Camarilla territory. Yeah. Enter.
Okay. All right. At the
Can't-
very
we
least, she's
can't-
gonna.
Hold on. We can't hear you, Willow. You're muted.
My bad. Like, as I'm seeing all that, I'm just like, son of a bitch. I just parked. And I'm like, my thoughts are racing. Like, I don't want to let them away. I mean, yeah, we're in Camarilla territory, but we're not feeding here. We're not trying to cause trouble here. It's a big city, small world of darkness, whatever. May be able to get in and out without being a problem. And I want to know where they live.
She
You
could
have a
just get
point.
on the train and just like sit there until it makes its rounds and head home.
I'm running.
just-
I'm running to where you are because you texted the.
Yeah.
You texted the thing. I
Fuck it, go for
I
it.
grabbed from the back seat. I put on a hat. I take off whatever I'm wearing, so I'm not wearing the same bloody clothes I spoke with them with, and I'm running to where you're at because
just
I'm getting
have
on that train.
A very bad feeling about this.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, right?
Also, nothing ventured, nothing lost.
That's not always true.
I just have a bad feeling about this one.
Let's just hope we don't have to get into any social, because in that case, we're gonna die here again.
Cadence is like looking at the phone and says, "You should come home," and looking at the train, and she really wants to follow them. She's like, "I should do what I'm told because that's the smart move, but it's not the fun move."
So 2 things happen. You begin to hear the screeching of wheels and the blowing of wind that heralds an oncoming train.
It's here. Maybe it'll take a long time.
And Willow, as you are essentially getting ready to cross the street to head into the station, a very large sort of stretched Hummer pulls up in front of you, and the window begins to roll down, and you sort of see into it. You see a figure, and he's like looking at something, holds it up, turns it around to you, and you see a picture of your face. And that's where we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
The Malkavian.
All right, everyone. We're gonna take probably what might be a little bit longer than usual break because we have to bring in our first guest of Burn It Down.
What?
Exactly. So I have to do some tech wizardry and get someone on the line. So we'll be seeing you all fairly soon.
Let's hope that's the sheriff and not the scourge.
Let's all
Well,
hope.
maybe I could sweet talk. Let's see.
Cadence will beat his ass.
Cadence is getting on a fucking train.
All right. Okay. We'll see you guys soon.
My brawl's 0.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew. It's a pleasure to be here. I hope to bring you entertainment this evening. Mm-hmm. Hi. You seem to be. And
Oh.
the door is like, hi. You're far from home.
Oh, I'm lost.
Would you like a ride?
I'm trying to catch a train, actually.
I insist. As he opens the door and you start seeing him. He actually looks relatively like a dude. Looks like an average dude with a cigar.
Really, I can't get into a car with strangers. I'm trying to catch a wayward.
Ah, Miss Walsh, I am no stranger. You'll be safe. That I guarantee. Get in the car.
All right, well, I'm not trying to die today, so I'm getting.
Good.
I get into the car and I'm just like, face in hand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's weird and worrisome because rats don't do that on their own. Cadence knows rats don't do that on their own.
Do you
So she is going to uh yeah, she's actually just gonna she's gonna get on the train because why else would she be here? If these rats are answering to another kindred, she has to go with the story that she's just passing through to get to another area. So she's going to probably get on the car, like a car above or behind where the two ghouls are, so she can like keep an eye on them through the windows, but she's not in the same car as they are. Okay. She, yeah. Okay, good. She's glaring at those rats as she walks away.
Yeah. All
Proceed.
right. So, that picture, not a great angle for me.
Oh, I can see it's not your best, but
Yeah.
so how have you been in the evening? We have a few minutes before we get where we're going.
Oh, so, where's this limo going?
You're I think your home base across the line, as it were.
Oh, so you're just like depositing me on the other side, yeah.
No, you'll stay in the car, and
Oh,
I'll have your rest of your friends come with us.
all right. So, yeah, no, can I get like a name and explanation?
Oh, I apologize.
I feel like
My
I'm being
manners are a bit poor.
yeah.
Old habits and all that. You can call me Hancock.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're really, really new.
Oh,
That
unbelievably.
would be Sheriff Hancock.
Oh, yeah. Well, to be fair, there is a very good explanation for everything that is happening.
There always is.
Oh, this one's very good.
I'm all ears since I got some time.
She like looks down at her and then looks back up. Trying to track down some way we're trying to take care of a problem in regard to that.
In our territory.
Yeah, well, there was someone else trying to deal with.
Someone else is in our territory that we're not
They
aware
walked
of.
to your territory. I don't.
Oh, so you
Listen.
were helping us out.
Yes, I was doing you a favor by
you
finding
need
the
curry
your
favor. We can work on that.
Oh shit, per station. Yeah. I suppose we can hash out favors later, but just was
it's
trying
all
to
based
find
on what you want. This is a cordial visit
cordial.
because you actually see me coming. So
No. Actually, oh, go on.
Yes. Yeah, she's like standing like right at the end of the car, keeping an eye on them. Mhm. Yeah, she's just gonna stay on the train and wait till they leave and note the stop that they get off at.
I probably haven't looked at it since being whisked into a stretch.
Hey, Scott. Somebody who's watching the stream just said that you are muted.
Oh no!
None of us are.
Thank you very much. I apologize for that. It's a weird thing that I have to click over from the intermission. Hopefully that isn't too disruptive. Anyway, so you pull up to your haven. The car moves through very easily. So, so you haven't sent out any warning texts or anything of that nature.
No, not yet. As a, I'm not about to pull out my phone in front of the guy yet.
Okay, noted.
I'm still sizing him up, trying to see where I stand in the situation. If I feel my phone buzzing in the pocket, I'm just like, well, that's gonna have to wait.
It doesn't seem like anyone has sent any messages since the last little flurry. So yeah, Hancock, you're at the place.
All right, Miss Walsh.
Okay.
Shall we have you? How shall we go inside and have you introduce me to them?
Oh, this doesn't look great, but yeah, sure. I
That's
get out.
fine. And I'll let her out and keep the motor running.
Yes, sir.
So
And
is
he
this?
closes the
were-
door. He
were
opens
you-
the door for you. He closes it behind you like a gentleman.
Oh, I love that. I have a question. So were you on your way to do this anyway? It's like serendipity. Oh,
My favorite.
man. I go and
Please show
knock
me
on the
around.
door.
I always like seeing people's new pad.
This one was inherited. Alright.
Happens.
And I'm just like in my head. I sure hope Alex or Madison have the vocal savvy to save this.
So is this a good time to remind you, Scott, that I have Camarilla Infamy too?
Oh yeah, well aware.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah. So I guess Willow opens the door to the Haven. I think Alex and Madison are still doing their business, and she's with someone.
Hello, everybody. I was intercepted on my way to get those guys
I'm gonna look
by
up and
none other than.
I'm gonna look up and I'm gonna say, "Oh, hey, how you
Yeah.
doing, Sheriff?"
Hello, Mr. Mars. Good evening.
Close
Would you
the
like
laptop.
do you like a glass of tea or something?
No, not right now. I'm on duty after all.
Oh, so this is an official visit then?
Yes.
Ah, that's
A
lovely.
cordial one for now, but official.
Excellent.
Where are your others?
That's it for now.
You know they're missing one.
One of our other coterie mates is out doing. I believe she's hunting.
Scott. So all three. Who are the three that are there?
Okay, so based on your records, you've got Alex Mars, who's kind of a known entity in Atlanta. He's been an anarch for a while. Willow Walsh, obviously, you've met, and Madison Faircloth, who is a name that you know outside of this little endeavor. You've heard his name before. You think that he's something of an outcast from the Ventrue clan. That you're fairly certain that if there's any heat to come from him onto him, you're pretty certain the prince will want to deal with that herself.
Understood. Okay, just want to make.
Sure.
So we're missing Miss Hughes.
We can pass on messages. She doesn't
Well,
care.
let's give her a little bit of a rallying cry. I need all of you together.
So Cadence,
Yes.
after a couple more stops, you see them stand up, and try to find a good place for them to get off in the city. Yeah, they get off near in a sorry, checking the map here. They get off in a place called Collier Heights,
Mhm.
which seems to be sort of a residential district in the West Atlanta of the city.
Okay. All right. Is that still in Cam territory?
Actually, no, that is in Anarch territory.
Awesome.
It's
Okay, cool.
it's just above. It's sort of similar to where your territory is located in that it's right above I-20, which is the dividing line between north and south. But it's sort of
Mhm.
just at the edge. It's near 285, which is sort of the boundary line for Atlanta proper.
Okay. All right. So she is going to make note of that. And then she's just going to wait, I guess, for the train. Well, actually, it would probably take longer to wait for the train to circle back to the station than it would just be to call a cab.
Yeah, probably. That's probably
she-
true.
So she's going to get off at the next stop and call a cab to take her back to the Haven.
Okay,
The
noted.
parking for that car is going to be insane.
Assuming that she's responsive by text, Madison will actually have an Uber called and waiting at the station for her,
Okay, we can
Oh.
we can say that got taken care of.
just to speed it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So yeah, you
There's a
basically
lot of colon vertical line emojis along with Madison saying, "Hey, you should really get back. We have a visitor." Colon vertical line.
Bro.
Yeah, like actually typed so that her phone can see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, actually, UTF-8 encoded. I'm sorry.
stop.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Please.
I'm sorry.
Please stop. Anyway, so yeah, you get in touch with her. You let her know, and you know, I'm assuming there's some backdoor communications to let the driver know that there's extra in it if he can speed it up.
Okay.
So within about 15 minutes of all this sort of conspiring, you're alone with this guy for about 15 minutes before Cadence shows up. So if there's anything that you guys want to talk about during that time, anything specific, you can do that, or we can just fast forward to you being all together.
Give you guys like a pleading, like as pleading as I can give look with my eyes, and I'm just like,
Well, you can always show me around, but if you want to.
Hope you like Jesus.
He ain't so bad. Not for me.
No.
I hope you don't. I hope it does not offend you, but of course we're not going to show you the ins and outs of our haven, Sheriff.
Sad, but fair.
So what you can see, Hancock, is it's kind of looks like a community center. You know, there's sort of activity stations. There's sort of an open area where like dances could be held, and there's like tables and chairs and cork boards, and it looks pretty de rigueur.
Oh, this is where we're gonna make the macaroni art. I see.
Madison actually laughs at that.
so
For a cop, you're not so bad.
Anyway, so we'll fast forward until the Uber driver like peels out around the corner, and stops, like almost slamming into the Hummer, but stops on a dime and lets you out.
And she hops out and slams the door behind her and has her hands shoved in her pockets and maybe actually probably, you know, just kicks open the door and is like, "So what is the big fucking deal?"
Hello.
lovely.
Hi.
You must be Miss Walsh. Is that correct? Oh, Hughes. I apologize.
We all look alike to him.
Damn, I was gonna make that joke, you son of a bitch.
You're welcome.
Gotta be quicker there, son. Anyways.
It's just Cadence.
Anyways, now that you're all here, you're all together, we can get down to some business. You all, I would like so kindly to come with me in that very big Hummer outside to go see the prince. She would like to talk to all of you.
Wait, who are you?
I'm Hancock, Sheriff Hancock.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Cam shit. God damn it.
So, what is the occasion on which the illustrious prince of the Atlanta domain would invite 4 lowly anarchs.
A little bit of a meet and greet, discussion of borders and security.
That is, if pardon the rudeness, of course, horseshit. But if Prince Adelio wanted us dead, we would be dead. So I suspect that our night is going to go a whole lot more easily if we just go with the good sheriff to meet his dastardly prince.
Well, I for
would
one,
mind that tongue a little bit better when you're in her presence.
Of course.
I
She
for
may
one
find that as a compliment. I'm not exactly sure.
would
I'm
not
seeing
decline the
this.
immense honor and respect being offered to us by the prince. I think it bodes well for future cooperation.
Yeah, especially since I found that one. As he looks to Miss Walsh. Especially since she was over the line, as it were, earlier this evening.
It's lost.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Willow is like steaming over here at the tone he is taking, making the assumptions that anarchs are beholden to the prince in the way he is implying. And so I'm just like, I'm steaming, but I see that Madison is like, sure, we're gonna be cordial, and so I'm just like holding it down. But I don't like that tone.
So, if you're to be our chauffeur, I suppose we should get going, right?
Yes, we are burning nightlight after all. Lord knows I have more important things to do. As he walks on out of your haven.
What a douche.
Yeah. All right, let me.
Hope everybody's eaten recently, he says as he heads out the door.
Yeah, what is everyone's hunger at right now? Just to let me know.
1 baby! 1 baby!
All right, so Alex is a little bit hungrier than the rest of us. Excellent. Okay.
I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, well, stay hungry, my friend. Stay hungry. Anyway, so if there's no further ado, you are led to this large stretched Hummer. Very well appointed leathers. There's a wet bar in there. It's very posh.
Come in. There's plenty of room for everyone.
I sit in the Hummer.
Someone's compensating for something.
Hey, when you got it, flaunt it. Job comes with the perks from time to time. Everyone will remember that. As he sits terribly comfortably in his leather chairs. And when the doors are closed and the windows are completely up, you all look like you're kind of looking around, and then when you look back at him, he does not look like the way he looked before.
What does he look like?
He's about the same height, but he's bulkier, and his skin is completely dead white, stretched out. He has these large pock marks that either let you see exposed skeleton and muscle all across his face and skin. Still has a cigar. That is absolutely real. He's got straggly, gnarly hair. He's got like his entire face is when you see his teeth are just like sharp and jagged. And he's got sunken in eyes, obviously Nosferatu. Hi.
Good luck.
Good to know I ain't the messiest one in the car.
I'm cleaner than you are.
Probably.
But I just wanted to relax a little bit. It always helps get people to understand where I come from in these little endeavors. I'm here to, I would say facilitate, but really I'm just, at this juncture, since you're being so kind and polite to us by coming to see the prince, I'm just here to make sure nothing gets too out of hand.
Glorified babysitter, then. Nice.
I don't think you have anything to worry about, Mr. Sheriff.
I hope not.
I mean, I might get fleas everywhere, but you can deal with that.
Burn it afterwards.
It's true. She's filthy with vermin.
I'm sure the mighty ivory tower can handle any sort of infestation that might afflict them.
You might want to
that
get
is
this car
absolutely the
fumigated.
case. And I think infestations will be on the agenda this evening.
So I think he's talking about us. So,
I don't think he is.
oh,
Well, I guess we'll
Hey,
find out now, won't we?
Mr. Mars, it depends on how you play your cards.
mhm.
You guys are young. You got, what was it? Mobility and mutability. You guys can adapt and change, which is good. But you got to follow the rules. And there are rules. There are always rules. Oh, yeah, you can snarl all you want, but even the laws of the jungle got rules.
She just sulks, kind of curls up and leans against the door and is like, obviously not pleased with any of these developments. She's probably pouting a little bit. She is a child.
But
If you're
like I
wondering if this is what living in Atlanta is like, yes.
My
All right.
apologies.
So, the car goes through some side streets closer to the heart of the city. Eventually, it pulls into a very, very well developed area of town, into one of the more notable edifices in downtown Atlanta, which is the Georgia Aquarium. This is a very large facility, very modern architecture. It is sort of one of the bigger attractions that the city has built in recent years. And the car goes into sort of an underground lot. Not any of the customer parking. It's definitely a sort of a maintenance area behind levels of security. And you are led out through a parking garage into sort of the bowels of the aquarium, through sort of back tunnels and whatnot. And not too terribly soon after you guys are in the building proper, all of you feel it's kind of like a tingle up your spine, and an almost comforting feel as you walk into what you feel to be an Elysium, consecrated by sort of the basic ritualism that the Camarilla uses. It's one of the weird commonalities between all sects. All sects have Elysium of one type or another, and they all have a semi-sacred connotation amongst kindred of all stripes, to such a degree that even the ground itself can be sometimes detectable through the blood. It is a place of no violence, where any attacks that come at you are to be of a verbal nature, but your unlives are secured by the sanctity of the pact between all kindreds to honor such places. But anyway, you are eventually led into a large meeting room that has a number of tables set up, and a large curtained wall on one side. There are a couple of kindred here, and a small handful of what you believe to be ghouls, just sort of in attendance, not approaching you or talking to you in any way. They all sort of hold themselves aloof from you all. No one comes up to offer you any niceties or anything like that. But you are shown to basically a table up close to the curtained area. And Hancock, you are given the signal that the prince will be arriving shortly.
When we left the car, the mask is back up. And then he has you all just gestures for all of you to sit where you'd like, and he himself takes a seat off to the side, pretty close to where likely the prince will be sitting.
Cadence isn't gonna sit. She's gonna lean up against a wall, sort of sort of off to the side. She doesn't look comfortable in this environment at all, and isn't going to make herself look like she's comfortable. She's not about that.
Hancock looks over and goes, "Please sit.
I don't want to sit.
I don't care what you want."
Cadence is fine. This
Okay.
is Elysium. You have nothing to worry about.
That is true. I cannot make you sit right now.
It's not you making me do anything that I'm worried about. She does sit
don't-
down.
And he sits comfortably in a chair.
Okay.
No, she does. Madison told her that she should, so she's going to do that.
So shortly thereafter, the curtains pull aside with a quickness, and you are met with the image of an incredibly large tank of water that is lit by artificial lights from above, and you see this sort of man-made but very artfully done undersea tableau.
Mm-hmm.
And then very suddenly, rising from the depths, is a massive creature that swims past the window once and then comes back again. And you believe it's some strange breed of shark. Not quite a great white, but almost that big. And it sort of settles with its eye looking to all of you. And then you see a figure in a wetsuit unhook themselves from one of the fins and swim around to the side, give the shark a caress with her hand, and then she goes and swims out of your view. About 5 minutes later, the shark remains looking at you. And from a side door comes a woman, tall, very pale skin, blonde hair with only the slightest hint of gray, still a little damp, but having changed out of the wetsuit into a very simple but elegantly cut dress. And she goes over to you, Hancock, and puts out her hand.
Exit.
And then she turns to all of you and nods to each, and then sits at the head of the table where you all are. Says, "Welcome to my Elysium, kindred. Thank you for accepting my invitation. I am, of course, Prince Adelaine Peterson. It is a pleasure to meet all of your acquaintances."
I turn my head, look at either Alec, Madison for any sort of cue. On
Madison seems to be going for the poker face approach.
your Elysium is lovely.
Thank you. It's a
Prince, just,
yes, Hancock?
Prince, just so you know, they did come quietly and politely.
That is
Okay.
very good to know. Thank you for informing me of that, Sheriff. Yes, it is a rather nice Elysium, Miss Walsh. I thank you for your approval. Of course, it's not the fox, but what can be.
Oh.
Regardless, you honor us with your hospitality.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Faircloth, I do try to be hospitable. So, most of you are new to our fair city. How do you find it?
Downtown traffic is real. But,
For all of our power and all of our influence, there is still some remnants of the old guard, as it were. I'm actually told that the previous prince, Madison, actually had a hand in the design of our road system here. Yeah, it's rumored that he did so to confuse the Yankees.
Oh well,
Well,
he's
he
doing
did a
a
lovely
great
job.
job. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, he was of the clan of the moon, so who knows what logic he followed in truth. Anyway,
So what are we here to talk today? Just
hmm,
well.
I like, even though you are not bound by the traditions of hospitality, I like to meet everyone who is in Atlanta. I like to see their faces. I like to know who I share a city with. And, of course, there is a few questions, a few things that I've heard concerning things that perhaps we'll be able to iron out.
Oh sure. Like what? What kind of things have you heard about us
Hmm.
in particular?
I've heard that each of you have come here not as single travelers, but through coordinated effort. I don't know much more beyond that, but I do know there is purpose behind your arrival in my city. I'm sorry, this city. And purpose is always worth considering.
Allow me to assure you that that purpose is in no way even so much as tangential to the security, happiness, and health of your domain. It is a completely unrelated one.
I see. Now I understand that where all you come from, the state of war between our sects is far more heated than it is in Atlanta. By necessity,
Yeah, say the least.
Yes.
by necessity, we have had to calm things down here. So, I simply hope that we do not bring conflict from abroad where it needs not be. Because the time between the beginning of hostilities between our sects and the truce was not a good one for any of us.
So if you're wondering if Baron Tren is bringing recruits into Atlanta to um, start some sort of big final push, no, I don't feel like Atlanta has benefited from hostility between the Anarchs and the Camarilla historically, especially in that we are surrounded at all times, ever, by the Sabbat. Now, that said, we don't work for the Baron, so if he does want to take Atlanta from you, that's really something more you'd have to discuss with him. We're a bunch of nobodies, and with all due respect, Prince, I would like to know what you really brought us here.
I think he's the smart one.
Indeed, indeed he is.
He's certainly the talkative one.
Thank you.
Well, I hate to disappoint you, Mr. Mars. Mr. Mars, who has a more colorful past than any of your associates, I believe. But I do hate to disappoint you. I'm sorry to say that it is as I've said. I've heard a few concerning things, and I wish to be on face-to-face terms with every kindred in this city. Now, I do have... There is a private matter, Mr. Faircloth, that you and I might need to discuss outside of any listening ears. But I don't think it would be right to speak of that more in front of any who do not understand things the way our blood does.
As you've invited us here to Elysium, it would be terribly rude of me to decline any further invitation. So when we're done here, I'd be more than happy to speak with you.
Good. So, are there any questions, any requests, anything that I can do for you, kindred?
Tell us what your concerns are so we can address them and go home.
I have a little more than that, but she's pretty much right.
I do my best.
She says, well, my concerns are the Sabbat. My concerns are the Inquisition. My concern are tensions between Anarch and Camarilla flaring up to such a point that the devils on either side of us are able to swoop in and destroy us. Those are my concerns.
I think those are our concerns as well.
Yeah.
As rare as it may be, it would seem that we of the movement and you of the Camarilla are of complete accord on that matter.
Indeed, indeed.
Actually, yes. There is something
By all means.
in regards to this.
Yeah,
We all mutually would benefit them not being. It seems that recently, very recently, they crossing over into Arbiter.
Yes, that is unfortunate. I am led to understand that your Baron has distributed the maps that our Tremere have created to monitor the border.
So there's more of those maps?
Yes, every domain that lies around the border has such a map, and those who guard it are given the maps in order to prevent, or not prevent, but keep an eye on any crossings from the south.
It is, after all, to our mutual advantage that members of both sects be empowered to be aware of and to intercede in any Sabbat intrusions into civilized lands.
Yeah.
That is 100.
Go ahead.
No, Sheriff, speak your mind on this matter. This is your concern.
As security of this domain is one of my, if not the top concern that I have. That's why I think we all could work together on this. I can't be everywhere. You guys are all on the front lines. You could use our resources, our support. However, that gets a little dicey depending on the current political climate.
It does indeed.
One thing that I might request is a clarification on exactly where we are or are not allowed to be. Earlier, we were tailing leads of some interest in this regards, but we did stray into your territory. I would like to make sure that as long as we don't intend to feed there or start trouble there, that we are allowed to make incursions into your territory as regards this issue.
He says, that shows foresight and is not entirely outside the realm of possibility. I will say this. I will trust that any incursions from your coterie into Camarilla territory will be done, as you say, not to feed, not to cause trouble, but to pursue legitimate security interests.
Mhm.
However, domain must be respected. And she snaps a finger, and one of the ghouls comes over with a piece of paper, and she hands it to her, and she looks at it, and she says, she holds it out. Isn't particularly concerned with who takes it. Okay.
I'll take it.
Okay. Yeah. So either of you have it. She says, that is a routing number and account information. Whenever such a necessary incursion occurs, I trust that you will pay homage. $1,000.
I
Well,
think that's fair.
Now, before you think me crass, that does not go to any of my funds. That goes to a women's shelter that I am particularly interested in maintaining. Know that you help the mortals by showing proper respect.
Now you're speaking of my language.
Now here's my 2 cents of this situation. The more details I get about these security risks, the more I and my people are willing to assist all of you in whatever you're dealing with, because I heard a lot of ideas and thoughts, but I got no names, and names are what matter.
Yeah.
so what? Every time we got to take a bus through your territory, we got to drop 1,000.
Yeah, more or less.
Well, I think we can agree that the idea of an intrusion is much different from the idea of riding a bus along its route.
That should probably be defined here.
I believe that domain is sacred. I believe that there should be no casual incursions. I believe that any such should incur the respect that I've asked for.
Right?
Alright then.
Get to
Fair
know your
terms.
neighborhood real well.
Oh, yeah. Hurt us in the pocket. In regards to contacting you, Sheriff, how do I go about doing that? Seem eager to throw your weight around, so we'll be able to do you when we need it.
I think I'm starting to like this one.
Starting. Alright then. How will we be able to contact? Do we just wait for your limo?
I'll set something up.
You click your heels together 3 times and say there's no place like Yale.
Say his name and he appears in a smooth
Yale's
cigar
overrated.
smoke.
You never know. You never know. And that's the kicker right there. You will never know.
Well, no, I suppose that we actually will know, Sheriff, because if domain is sacred, as the prince has stated, then I suppose we can expect not to have you show up in ours again without one.
It depends. Depends on how official my business is.
I mean,
We could set up an account.
we can certainly set up an account, though I don't think that's necessary. I just think that it would be
Set up an
worthwhile.
account, we can pay it.
Of
Oh,
course.
I'm sure. I know.
You
I
know
know.
who I am, Hancock. We're not slapping dicks about money here. The point that we're trying to make is that if we are truly going to respect one another the way that the Anarch movement and the Camarilla used to, in the mutual goal of ridding this city of the Sabbat once and for all, then we have to mean the words that we say. If domain is sacred, then so is ours. Agreed?
They bring up a good point as he looks over to the prince.
She's considering this, and she says, I am unaccustomed to hearing such profound insight regarding the traditions from anarchs. Indeed, I believe that your suggestion bears merit. Name a charity. Should any unfortunate lapse of occur, we will pay in kind.
I'll pass that over to our illustrious leader, Mr. Faircloth.
Leader. Didn't know we were allowed to have that. He pulls his phone out and makes a note.
I lean in to Madison and I say, as much as I've spoken, I just don't want them to think it's me.
Me neither.
Anyway, Mr. Hancock, why don't you show our guests some of the finer points of the Elysium? I believe Mr. Faircloth and I must have a private conversation.
No problem.
Ooh.
Come with me. As he just kind of lunges out of the chair, looking very confident and sure of himself as he walks out of Elysium proper.
He turns to Willow very seriously and says, if I'm not back in 15 minutes, call the president. And then he walks after the prince.
Ooh, I don't have that number. And follow the sheriff. Give
Okay.
me the tour.
So, we can go into specifics, but the whole of the aquarium is Elysium. It is something of a sight to see, even at night. He sort of leads you around, shows you, some of the exhibits, and then some of the areas behind the exhibits that are used for kindred purposes. It's something of a guided tour. You're not certain you're seeing all there is to see.
Yeah.
But it is certainly not something you would see every day.
Yeah.
Any
starfish.
Towards the end of the tour, whenever we're sort of wandering around, he actually someone comes up to him and hands him something, and he looks at it, and then he hands it to Miss Walsh specifically.
Yeah.
If I need you, there's a number on this. If this ever goes off, call it back. If you need to get in contact with me, call the number.
I'm honored.
And he hands you this, and it's literally a pager. It is a pager from the 90s.
Oh, this takes me back.
There's a little stamped phone number on like the side of it. That is obviously the number he wants you to call if you need to contact him, and the pager will work as a pager.
Good technology. It wasn't dead. It never died.
What is old is new again.
Like bell bottoms.
Anyway, Madison. She stands and goes and sort of motions you towards a different door than the ones that your compatriots go through. And she says, if you will.
I will follow right along.
Okay. And
as confident as can be, even though I'm super nervous and I'm pretty sure I'm dead now.
Don't worry, I'll call the president.
Well, he might help a fellow bloodsucker. Anyway,
Hey!
Anyway, so she leads you through a few passageways until you are in a long tunnel made of reinforced glass. That is mostly dark in here. There's light shining through the water from outside sources, but you are in a mostly dark, surrounded by enclosed water. Dylan, have you ever been to the aquarium?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you know the tunnel I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually holds out her arm for you to take.
I will oblige and hook it properly.
She says, Mr. Faircloth, I really hate to say this, but I fear you may have me at a disadvantage.
I'm flattered.
I suppose that's one way to take it. Of course, we both know about your position in the clan.
Quite well.
In fact, we both know that you did not come from any domain. You came from Chicago. And you know that the Prince of Chicago has declared that any Ventrue in league with the Anarch movement is to be considered a traitorous caitiff.
I am aware of that particularly myopic pronouncement, yes.
Let me assure you, there is no such blanket blood hunt in my domain. But your name is on a list that has been given to me through our clan. A fellow Ventrue has blood hunted you. Now,
He kind of gives her the, all right, go on look.
He says, I am of course under no obligation to honor that hunt. And I do not intend to.
Should not think you would be so crass as to grant hospitality to one that you intended to see destroyed only moments later. That seems below you.
No, I would not. However, there would be many in our clan who consider me honor-bound to inform the Prince of Chicago that one whom he has blood hunted has come not necessarily into my domain, but into a city in which I have domain.
It is unfortunate for him that your busy life may, if I am so fortunate, prove an inhibition to you finding the time to deliver such meager and unimportant news.
Indeed, indeed. However, I do take the matter of clan honor very, very seriously. So, once again, I have to state that you have me at a disadvantage. I think I have been trying to come up with a reason ever since I heard that you are in Atlanta why I shouldn't inform him that you're here. Perhaps you can help me with that.
I think you would find that I am an individual capable of being helpful in a number of ways. Now, if there was something that you had in mind, then perhaps I could render that assistance out of gratitude for the hospitality that you've shown myself and my coterie.
That certainly would be along the lines of what would compel me to set aside the honor of our clan. I'm curious as to what you think would be appropriate.
Well, there are a number of things in our neighboring domains which are perhaps to neither of our likings. For example, I believe Baron Tran of our domain is an intractable buffoon with whom your negotiations, I'm certain, have been less than enjoyable?
He and I see eye to eye on a great many things, but we cannot seem to coexist very well.
Well,
That is true.
I must imagine that a woman of such splendid vision as you could see easily how advantageous for both sexes the installation of a more pliable individual might be. One that understands statecraft, the necessities of leadership, and the weight of the crown.
Crown. Funny to hear an anarch talk of crowns.
If there's one thing that I've learned, it's the only difference between our sex is whether or not the crown is acknowledged or hidden.
So you would rid me of, I wouldn't say a thorn, but an irritant who, despite his irritation, is performing the necessary tasks for the security of the domain with some unknown factor.
That is precisely what I suggest. I believe that a woman of your intelligence and experience would not be so foolish as to believe that a passive outlook can win a war. Baron Tran is many things. He's attentive, reasonably intelligent, far too interested in my business. But he is not proactive.
Mr. Faircloth, this sounds like you're doing yourself a favor here.
It is a well-honored tradition among our blood to ensure that favors are paid to as many kings as possible in a given action.
Regardless, at this time, as amusing as I would find it to see that man undone, I do not think that's something I can ask of you. Not for the good of the city. For all of his negative qualities, he does a good job with the Masquerade, and in holding the line against the Sabbat.
Then I would ask you to direct me in sight of what you may feel more appropriate.
This is... Perhaps, if something cannot be brought forth now, shall we say a major boon?
Once more, you leave me no option to decline. That offer is more than reasonable, and I accept it.
Very well. From no place that you can detect, an individual appears, bearing a small notebook, and she says, she motions to her. She says, like, meet my harpy, Lucinde. And she's already scratching something in it. And then she turns the notebook to you and says, your name, please.
She have a writing implement, or is she
Yeah,
just
there's a quill right there, and then you sign your name. One major boon owed from Madison Faircloth to Prince Adela Peterson.
Nailed it. Now nobody's gonna want to kill me.
I mean,
Right.
except us.
Yeah,
There is that.
You guys don't need to know.
Anyway, so it's about this time that sort of the two tours um, come together at this massive wall of water where there's a small auditorium and there's this rather large octopus just sort of floating its way past in the night as you come out from one part of the tunnel and the coterie with Hancock comes into another entrance. And she sort of nods to each of you and says, "It was truly a pleasure meeting all of you. You may enjoy Elysium so long as you wish. Of course, and perhaps one day you will be invited for a grander affair."
If we're invited, we still gotta pay?
No.
Good.
It was a good question.
I'll make sure they get tucked away, just all safe and nice and warm in their beds.
Yeah,
Well, I'm sure
actually,
you will.
kind of gonna need you to drop me off at that car park that you picked me up.
I could probably arrange that.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. It's on my way.
She says, "I have business to attend to. Is there anything else that any of you wish to discuss before we part ways?"
Only to offer my gratitude for inviting us to this lovely establishment.
You are most welcome. He says, "If there is nothing else, I bid you all a good evening." And she heads off back down the tunnel, leaving you in Hancock's hands.
All right, so back in the stretch limit.
Are the other rando Camarilla people still around?
Oh, no. They are not around.
They're super gone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty much. There's probably been one dude following Hancock around in the group, but that's basically been it.
Well,
Deputy.
this is a lovely place, but I do have work to get back to, Mr.
Oh,
Shat.
I understand. That's fine. Y'all like to leave now?
That would be
Hells
lovely.
yeah.
Very well.
Madison, you don't want to.
And then as we're walking back to the scripture, I'm glad we all could come to a good arrangement here.
Perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever.
So he leads you into the stretch limo. He rides on back. On the way back, basically back to the Elysium proper, not the Elysium, Your Haven. He drops Miss Walsh off specifically where he picked her up originally.
So I could pay that awful pay to get out of that parking. See how many hours.
When you
I'm just like, oh.
when you go to deal with the parking meter, it shows paid in full.
Dang it. That was very polite. Shit. Okay. I continue to
When you were
drive.
nice to me.
My God. Isn't it's hard to be mean, like, because you want to be mean.
Oh yeah.
After he drops you off, gets you all back to your haven proper, and he lets all of you out. But as he did, like, one second, sorry. Miss Hughes, if you'll stay for a second, I want to talk to you.
Sure.
And he closes the door behind Mars and Madison. And when he shuts the door, he is now in his Nosferatu appearance. He doesn't look like a normal random dude.
Mm-hmm.
I like you. You speak your mind. Tough. So I'm going to tell you this right now. Don't struggle. And he's just going to punch the living bejesus out of your face.
You know,
Erdo.
he said don't struggle. She's not going to listen to him.
All right.
It's fine.
We are gonna roll some
No,
dice
I
then.
Get him, Cadence!
All right.
Star!
All right.
World Star!
So
No.
the question I have to ask
Yes.
is Are you just trying to get out of the way of his fist, or are you trying to hit back?
She's actually gonna try to maybe like sort of duck. If he's going for her face, she's gonna try to duck under and maybe try to, because I know we're inside a car. There's really not that
Mhm.
much she can do, but maybe like shove him like down onto the seat.
Okay, so you are trying to hit back basically.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
okay, that's fair. So
Restrain maybe would be a better term, but she's
you're not just getting out of the way. That's all I need to know. All right.
Yeah.
So basically, what I need from both of you is dex and brawl rolls.
Okay.
So since I did specify that I'm trying to like subdue, I have a specialty in grappling.
That would
Can I
apply.
apply that?
That would apply. That would be an extra dice.
Okay.
Currently,
it.
Scott, I've got 6 to roll.
Mhm.
Are you gonna roll for me?
Yeah, sure. I'll include your hunter.
You said what did you said what plus brawl?
Dex
Strength?
and brawl.
Dex. Oh, Dex is even better. Ha!
Because I'm just trying to hit her. That's strength plus roll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's strength plus roll to hit. With,
Yeah, it would be strength plus brawl to try and hit her.
Yep.
So that's 6.
Yes, that's 6. Because potence only adds to damage.
Oh, I'm going to take a picture of this motherfucker.
All right.
Throw hands, baby.
Cancel. And actually, wait, I don't have Discord on this phone, damn it.
Uh-oh.
But that is, actually, I can just move my webcam.
Uh-oh.
Look at that.
Hold on, I'm trying to get a good view of it.
Yeah, oh, sorry, I'm, like, terrible at this.
What is that one technically on?
That is, that's a crit right there.
Okay, I don't see... Okay, yeah, you do get a crit on there. Okay, yeah, actually,
That's like 6 successes.
yeah, that's pretty
What?
good.
Although it's a messy critical, isn't it?
No,
'Cause
it's
one of them's on the
no,
100?
no,
No. The ones with the little stars are the 10s,
Ah,
Oh.
Yeah,
whereas the regular onks are just successes.
that's not necessarily critical. So yeah, you go in for a haymaker, Hancock, and she is able to actually move around and sort of get your arm in a clutch. So you were just trying to restrain him. You weren't trying to do any. Were you trying to do any damage to him?
No, she wasn't trying to damage him. She was trying to make a point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she actually
Yeah, show off.
has you in a clinch.
He will try to shrug. His fist sort of, you can feel all that undead muscle moving, but you stop all his forward momentum before he's able to really build up a lot of speed and velocity on it. So it looks like he's gonna just try to flex you off of him and see if he can break it.
All right. So let me just double check. Oh boy, the most fun part of any rule system, grappling.
I know, right? It's always terrible.
That's on page 301.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Love it.
I'm muted.
Introduce him
Okay,
to your
fair enough.
named fist.
The only good way to do a grapple in human history as fast as possible.
Indeed. All right. So this is basically going to do another strength plus brawl. Are you activating your potence at all?
I've had it active.
Okay. All right. Noted. Well, let me do a round strike for you then.
Alright, so
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be a contested strength plus brawl roll to see who gets this flex.
That's 11 dice now.
Okay.
Well, he's probably gonna win because I got a 1.
Oh,
But I'm really proud that she stopped that punch.
Yeah. You got 1 success. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you're rolling 6. So what do you want to do with this? So you are able to take control of the grapple. You can do damage to her if you want. What's your intent, Matthew?
No, basically he's just going to now control the grapple, and now he's just got you like in a giant bear hug, and he's squeezing, and he's just crushing, and you can start hearing like joints pop.
All
yeah,
right.
no, she don't like that.
So
Is that going to be some damage taken?
yeah, I'm gonna say that is 3 superficial damage done to you.
Alright, let me find where that is on the sheet.
But as you feel like your shoulder dislocate and some ribs kind of crack.
Yeah, she's like, and she's gonna, wheeze out as he's doing this. She's like, if you're gonna ask me not to try to defend myself, well, that shit just ain't cool. I don't care where it comes from, I'm gonna defend myself.
They sit. You sit. And starts crushing her harder. Basically, he's gonna keep crushing her. Not to kill her, obviously. Probably not to torpor her, but enough to just make a very powerful statement.
Okay. So, what I want to do here is I want another strength and brawl roll from both of you.
11 again?
Yeah.
Oh, I should be adding one for the specialty.
Yeah.
Is this making any kind of noise? Is there fucking potents wrestling in their Hummer?
The car is shaking almost.
So I will say, would anyone who has heightened senses, would any of you have activated it?
Honestly, I would probably be trying to eavesdrop on them, so yes.
Okay, all right. Then go ahead and give me a wits awareness with your auspex.
Oh, damn it, I should have done something. Oh well.
Hindsight.
Yep, 2020.
I got 4 successes.
Okay, what did you get, McKenna? Goose egg. All right.
No one's though, so
That's good. That's very good. Okay, so yeah. You take 2 more superficial damage.
okay.
And Madison, you definitely hear. There's not a lot of talking going on, but you do hear like the strength, like you see like this is a very solid car. It actually isn't like visibly rocking, but you do like you hear like a scuffle and a pop. What are you doing?
Hey, I'm gonna check on Cadence. You should stay inside, Alex.
So,
All right.
when you come back out to check on her, the door opens, and she is shoved out, with like her arm looks like it's very in not the right place, and like she's kind of crumpled a little bit.
I'll try to catch her with my 1 strength.
I got you.
Your body can cushion fall.
I have fortitude, though.
You're able to catch her,
Whoa,
and
shit.
the car pulls away at a decent speed.
Yeah, and she's gonna be like, "Yeah, get the fuck out of my house, you dick!"
What the fuck happened, Cadence?
Flipping the bird twice.
Fucking throw a brick at his car. Like,
He's gonna just try to get her back to standing.
She's like, this.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, just he's mad.
What the fuck happened?
He's mad because I didn't sit down.
You're in a car. What the fuck?
No, back at Elysium, stupid.
Oh. Wow, what a baby.
Dickwads.
You're Alex, your heightened senses, you hear like someone off in the distance saying, "What the fuck is wrong with her?" And you see like a couple coming around the corner. And like,
I'm gonna step out and
Inside.
sort of.
no, I'm sorry. I bet Madison heard that.
Okay.
Because he had
Yeah, he's gonna say, okay, let's get you inside.
Get the scarf over my shoulder so they can't see.
Yeah, he pulls it up.
So you pull her inside, shut the door, and
I'm gonna step back outside after doing so, as if looking for something that she may have dropped.
Okay.
Like it's kind of like I'm like looking on the ground, like as if looking for a wallet or a phone or a contact. That kind of obvious
Yeah.
search.
I mean, there's nothing that you can tell.
I know. I'm waiting for those people to round the corner and then confront
Yeah,
me.
they don't seem now that they don't see her anymore. You know, the indifference of
Sure.
of American life. They just sort of give you a look and head on their way.
Give them a look and go back. All right, cool. Diffusion of responsibility wins again. Nobody cares.
Yay!
Yay.
So he just fucking swung on you, Cadence?
He tried to punch me. I tried to tackle him. He was better at tackling than I was, and that's just.
Well, they don't normally give sheriff away.
But I tackled him first, so little victories.
Wow.
Yeah, your insides feel wrong. By the way, like you're
nothing's
lining up the way.
She's like physically, very much ignoring that as much as she can. It's very, very difficult.
Fair
but
enough.
When she's focusing on her words to make sure that they come out as
understood.
Do you need me to order takeout for you?
Yeah.
Alright. What do you want?
I don't fucking know.
Is Pizza Boy okay with you?
Pizza Boy is fantastic. I am not one with any specific tastes. So
well, I didn't know if you were picky about hunting your own meals or whatever.
Does it look like I can hunt my own fucking meals?
Okay, you've convinced me with the coughing and whatnot.
Thanks.
So I'm gonna order a pizza to some random address 2 or 3 blocks down so that it can align properly, that she can just snatch and grab him into an alleyway and have what she wants.
All right.
Tip him well after.
Yeah, tip him. Nice.
They go through a lot.
All right.
I mean, she usually mugs them to make it look natural, but okay.
All right.
No, Pizza Boy getting mugged in downtown Atlanta. What are the odds?
So with that display of callous inhumanity, we will go ahead and end it all for the night. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Matthew, for being the jackbooted face of fascism.
Yeah, you were a splendid fucking cop.
Yes.
Good job.
I hope Hancock.
You're welcome.
I hope Hancock makes later appearances, if only so Cadence can antagonize him.
He's delightful. He likes
Yeah.
all of you.
I'm definitely writing a song called ACAB, and it stands for All Camarilla are Bastards.
So funny story, in underground theater, I almost actually had a tattoo, like a fist tattoo of ACAB as Madison.
Nice.
I love it.
Seriously considered it.
All right. So does anyone have anything that they want to push or promote before we head out?
Well,
obviously,
I
Matthew.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. As always, I'm sure Scott has said this. You can always listen to me and Scott and our good buddy Ryan talking about role-playing games on Polyhedron. You can go get it anywhere that podcasts are sold, quote unquote. Wherever you can get them, you can find Polyhedron there. We have a great time over there, so check us out.
Yeah, we also do a bunch of actual plays as well, so those are fun. Anybody else have
in the middle of Bayon right now?
We are. Anybody else have anything they want to push?
I think I'm good.
Not at this time.
Last time I said I'd take art commissions. I broke down and actually made 2 separate profiles on commission sites for those. So maybe get some nice black and white portraits in the same style that we have floating around on our overlay here. You can find me on Fiverr as McKenna C. Kelly and commish.io as MC Kelly.
And we will absolutely have those links in the doobly-doo on the YouTube and various other release formats.
Oh, I forgot one thing. I'm sorry. At Bioimportance for me personally, or at PolyhedronCast on Twitter.
Absolutely, we'll have those links. All right, well, if nothing else, we will see everyone in 2 weeks for the last episode of this current arc as the players play, where the players play. So yeah, thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. And
Thank you for running this.
pithy catchphrase.
Fuck Nazis!
All right.
Nazis.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Get it
All right.
Hold
tattooed on
on,
my
we have to do
face.
it ASMR style. Fuck Nazis.
Wow,
It's my new niche, leftist ASMR. It's gonna
Oh yeah.
it's gonna sell.
Dude, it
This
did
is a weird
something to me.
rebranding.
That's right.
All right.
All right, good night, guys.
Good
With
night,
that,
guys.
we're done. Thanks.